Hi guys, so I got a request today about my nutritional intake and what it was like when I was raw vegan. I was raw vegan during my third pregnancy and I had the most incredible pregnancy. It was the healthiest I've ever been in my life and had a very cute chunky baby at 9.2 pounds. I kept track of my nutritional intake via a doctor and pediatrician and blood work and keeping track of my baby, and also used Cronometer. Sorry for the dings, you're going to hear some text messages coming through. It's not very professional, but I'm doing my best. A Cronometer is a free program that you can use to help keep track of your nutritional intake and your exercise and everything. It's phenomenal. I'm going to show you guys how it works, how you can set it up, and give you guys an idea of my nutritional intake when I was raw vegan, and it might give you guys some inspiration or some ideas. So first, what you do when you set up, you want to go into settings, and under settings, you want to go to your profile, and you type in your information. So that they know whether you're male, female, and your birthday, and your BMR, your activity level. I put sedentary because I don't do a lot. I mean, sometimes I would say I'm lightly active, actually, especially chasing after 4 boys. And I do some very light workout, and I am working a lot outside on our little farm. I would call it a farm, not really, but I have chickens and do a lot of gardening. So I am probably lightly active, but I put sedentary, especially because I'm constantly with kids, either pregnant, breastfeeding, and so I do sit around and do nothing a lot. And then you add in your weight and you add in your height, so that helps with what your nutritional targets are going to be. Especially if you're adding in your exercise and that sort of stuff. So then after you fill in your profile, you want to go to diary up here. I'm just going to show you the basics of this. There's a lot more to it, and you can, I believe you have to upgrade for like fasting and that sort of stuff. But let me show you the basics of what I do. Now, I use this program for my whole family, for my children, for my husband and I. It just really helps to make sure we're meeting our nutritional needs. Especially being, I shouldn't say especially being vegan, because actually when I have videos on this too, but once going vegan, going raw vegan, my nutritional intake skyrocketed. So I would say that's definitely a benefit of going vegan, is your nutritional intake, in my opinion. And if you do, extra research on others' experiences, it does increase. All right, so as long as you got to know what you eat and eat properly. So what I did, so I can spare you guys the boredom of watching me fill out this entire thing, is I filled out a pretty basic day of me eating raw vegan. Now, this would change quite a bit, but it's also a pretty typical day for my eating. Now, what you do is you click add food up here, and you can add in even an apple if you want. And then what it does is it just shows you the your nutritional intake from eating that one apple. Has all your proteins, minerals, vitamins, everything, your fats, and it has your highlighted nutrients up here in grams when you hover over it, and then the percentage of your daily intake. And then up a little bit farther right here, this is your calories consumed, and this is based on my body, so it'll base it off your body you put in the settings. Calories consumed, calories burned, and then the balance. So either it would be a minus sign if I was in a deficit, calorie deficit, and this would be how much I went over for what it says my body needs in a day. Now, the thing with being raw vegan, I did not, and you will not, gain weight from being this high over your calorie intake. I would very confidently say that's a myth. Depending on what you are eating. If you're a raw vegan, it's amazing how many calories you can eat, because if you are consuming produce and fruits and veggies, a lot of the foods that you are eating are actually taking more energy digesting the food than you're actually gaining from eating the food. You again can confirm that through many other sources and testimonies and experiences other people have. Just take a quick search of raw vegans, their experiences on social media, on YouTube, wherever. So let's take a look at some of the food that I would be eating on a typical day, and I'm going to show you how to adjust this and add foods and all that sort of stuff. What I'll also do is I will give you guys some more videos on how I made these foods, how I made my meals. I have in, if you check out my channel, I have recipes. I don't believe I have a whole lot of raw vegan recipes because I didn't start really making those videos until after I was raw vegan. Right now I am I do eat a lot of raw foods, but I eat what I call clean. I very clean vegan, and I am gluten free. And my goal is to continue to try and be as high raw as I can because it's how I feel my absolute best and when I get my most nutrition. So let's take a look. For my breakfast, this would be a typical breakfast. I would put together, if you can keep track of where I'm looking, a couple bananas. So I have in 2 medium bananas. Now when you enter a food, let me show you how you do it. You click add food, and if I wanted to add a banana, you can search it up here. I have my most common entries here, so I could click quickly. But if I add in a food, I just type it in. Banana, that is not how you spell banana. Banana. You can click raw, fried. It gives you a million different options. And the other coolest thing is it will give you brands. So there's no banana brand, but let's say you entered like a type of oatmeal or a nutritional shake or something, it'll give you the brand, and it has almost everything, like everything you could find in Canada, America, whatever. It's incredible. So let's just add in a banana. Click raw banana, and then it shows up down here what you get in a banana: protein, net, carbs, fat, and you enter the serving amount here, the quantity, and the size. So you can do medium, small, and it gives you so many different options too, so you can be super specific. And then you just click add. I'm going to close it because I already have it in. I have 2 bananas in here. And now when I click it and highlight it, it shows me specifically what those 2 bananas gave me and the nutritional intake down here. I'm going to click out of it. Oh, no, wait. How do I click out of it? I don't even know how to do that. So I clicked on that, but I don't want to do that. I want all my foods. I don't know how to get out of it. How do I get back? Maybe I'll click this. No, maybe I click add food and close it. No, that did absolutely nothing. Okay, so whatever. Let's figure this out. I'll just walk you through each food and we'll figure it out after. So that was, oh, I click it again. Okay, so there, look, I learned something, you learned something. Click it again if you want to unhighlight it. Bananas. And so this is part of my breakfast. I would add chopped banana, chopped apple, and I would chop those up in a fruit bowl, and I would add other fruits too, but usually if I just wanted a basic, I would just have these 2. And I would add a cashew sauce with raw cashews. Now this is debatable for some people whether this is a raw food or not. They call them raw cashews, but they do have to blanch them, so they boil them just for a little bit. And when I was raw vegan, I wasn't too hardcore. There were certain things I would give myself and allow in. I did feel better eating seeds and nuts, so I do encourage those. I think it's a good idea to eat those. I think it's just easy, natural. It makes sense to eat seeds and nuts, and they're incredibly good for your body. I found nothing wrong with them, especially being pregnant. I wanted to add those in too. So I did eat raw cashews. Let's say I did half a cup of blended cashews in this breakfast, and I would add a bit of cocoa powder, and it would create this. It was surprisingly slightly sweet. I don't know how, but just cocoa powder and cashews. You could add maple syrup if you want to. Blend it up with some water, and it creates this creamy sauce or something, whatever you want to call it, that you could add onto your fruit. So I would eat that on my fruit. Sometimes I would leave this out if I just wanted fruit. Just do, whatever you feel like. But this is delicious, a delicious breakfast. Now I added in a smoothie here because if I wanted, like let's say later I wanted a snack and make a smoothie, sometimes I would just do a smoothie for breakfast. I have almond milk in here that I would add in, and I always use unsweetened almond milk. I never have processed sugar anyways. I don't recommend it. So I would add in almond milk, bananas, dates. Dates are incredible for you, and they're such a good sweetener. Frozen blueberries, or any frozen berry. Just do some frozen berries in that. I would add some kale as well, just for the nutrition. And if you add a good, if you're careful about the amount you add in, you won't even notice it. I have proof because my children will drink my smoothies if I only have a little bit of it in. And it just boosts that nutrient level. Kale is incredible, an incredible superfood. And then, yeah, so that would be my smoothie right there. Now, almond milk, again, debatable raw if you want to add it in or not. It's good. Almond milk, is good because it has that added nutrition. It has vitamin D usually added to it as well, which is good to get in if you're not getting enough, or if you're not able to get enough sun, like we're here in the winter, and so we can't get it a whole lot. There are other sources of vitamin D that I'll talk about, so we'll get to that in a second. But if you don't want to do almond milk, you could totally just do water. Okay, clementines, threw that in as a snack, 3 clementines. Now added this in as another snack if I was going to do buckwheat crackers. So I dehydrated crackers a lot. Super easy to make raw crackers. Just blend up some buckwheat flour. Buckwheat's incredible, by the way, for anything, for making baked goods. Oh my goodness, it's so good. Buckwheat flour, blend it up with some water, and you add spices and salt, and then dehydrate, and you've got a cracker. I'll post some recipe videos on that. So I added that in if I was going to have some crackers, and I added in the hummus. So if you make it homemade and prepare it, you can prepare it raw by hydrating chickpeas in water, or you could do the cooked version, but I'm trying to keep this as raw as possible to give you an idea. But again, for me personally, it was not a big deal if I added a little bit of cooked food here and there. It depended on how I felt, and I listened to my body. So, a little bit of steamed veg here and there, not going to kill you. It's going to be okay for you. Depends on how you feel. You do what you want to do and what you feel is best for your body. And then what I would do almost every single day is have a large salad. So I love lettuce. I love lettuce. I don't like romaine that much, even though I should be eating it probably a bit more, but I love just, and any other type of lettuce. So green leaf, 1 head for sure, because large salads, it looks like a lot, but because of the calories and because it's lettuce and it's mostly water, it doesn't feel like you're eating a whole lot of food. And then just add whatever in the world you want to it. So I put in there, let's say 1 red bell pepper. I love cilantro. I added a bunch of cilantro. You could do parsley. Lemon juice for a dressing. If you want to add a bit of olive oil, you could. I know it's not raw and that adds to your fats or whatever, but you do you. Avocado. I love avocado. And the funny thing with avocado for me is I am super sensitive to avocado, and I will be in bed with insane stomach aches if I am not eating healthy, which is very interesting. And this is totally normal for me. If I go through periods of time where I'm not eating as well as I could or I should, I can't handle avocado. If I'm eating mostly raw and super clean, my gut can handle as much avocado as I want. And there's other foods that do that to me too. Very interesting. If any of you guys have ever experienced something like that, comment below, because I'm curious. I haven't actually spoken to anybody else who's experienced that, but that's been my experience, and it's been pretty solid evidence to me, which is odd. Balsamic vinegar, again, not raw, half a tablespoon or teaspoon, whatever you want to add in, but you can throw that in if you want. Now, having this in on Cronometer or having it out is probably going to barely make a difference at all. You won't even notice it. So I just threw it in there just to show you guys what you can add in if you want, but it's probably not going to affect your nutritional intake. Zucchini, a raw zucchini. So this is another meal. If you want to make up some Zoodles, raw noodles. Now there's a whole bunch of other ways to make raw noodles. I'm gotta give you guys some good recipes. But a basic one is just spiralize a zucchini or shred a zucchini with a shredder, and you've got noodles. Add whatever sauce you want. I have an amazing Alfredo sauce recipe. I think I posted a video on YouTube. If not, I'm going to make one. Or you can just whip up a raw tomato sauce recipe using a tomato, basil, fresh garlic, oregano. There you go. And if you blend up some almonds with a bit of nutritional yeast, you've got a Parmesan cheese you can put on top. We use this recipe all the time. You just blend up almonds till it's like fine, like a Parmesan cheese texture, and add in some nutritional yeast. You don't even need the nutritional yeast. Just add the almonds and some salt, and it's surprisingly good, and my kids are obsessed with it. The nutritional yeast is just yummy because it adds a bit of a cheesy flavor, and it's also high in B12. B12 is one thing I recommend taking a supplement for if you're not getting enough B12. Even then, there is some debate about that. B12 does cycle through your body, and we would be getting adequate B12 in nature if you're eating naturally, pulling food out of the ground and getting dirt and soil along with your produce. which you don't have to be so scared about if you're, in a safe place and your soil's clean. So naturally, B12 isn't actually a concern if you're doing it properly, I would say. But again, I would say be on the safe side and supplement. But yeah, so there's that, and we'll talk a bit more about that in a second. Now, that was my little noodle dish. And then let's say I'm still hungry at night, want a little snack, and if that was my dinner or something, let's make a little chia seed pudding. Soak some chia seeds in milk or water, and it turns into a pudding. And then you can add whatever fruit you want. Say add strawberries or something, you can add anything. Bananas, I love adding to stuff like oatmeal or chia seeds because you do not need a sweetener. Bananas tend to be so sweet when you add them in. But I put in maple syrup here too, which we know is not raw because you got to boil to make maple syrup, but it is high in minerals. So that's something, if you want some leeway, add some maple syrup in there too. So from all of that from a day, might look like a lot of food, might not, I'm not sure. Like I feel like this is pretty average for anybody. Now, what I love most about being raw vegan is that you don't have to worry so much about your calorie intake. Just eat when you're hungry, stop eating when you're full, and if you're worried about nutrition, add it in here to Cronometer and take a look at what it gives you. So from having all of that added in, let's take a look. We looked at my calories in, calories out, whatever. My calories definitely went up quite a bit past my nutritional intake. Now, when I was raw vegan during the start of my pregnancy, throughout my pregnancy, and a bit postpartum, I never went over. I never gained weight. I was at the healthiest weight. I was always at the healthiest weight. And it wasn't until I started eating a little bit more unclean cooked food, a little bit more junky, that I started gaining weight. And yet my calories were not over this much. Yet I still didn't do well. I was still gaining weight. I was not healthy. Actually, my thyroid went crazy. It just got in bad shape. So yeah, you're still going to be phenomenally healthy. Even don't worry about it. Just don't look at these numbers. Let's look at here, the highlighted nutrients. Phenomenal. Now, if you were worried about going over your nutritional intake, my personal belief is your body is phenomenal at handling nutrients, at peeing them out, at using them appropriately, at distributing them well. Your body's just phenomenal at handling nutrients. And so I don't worry about my nutritional intake being crazy over when I'm eating from a whole food, clean diet. I'm not worried about this. I'm only worried if it's under. I would only be a little bit concerned. I'd only be concerned. I would be concerned and want to try to up that. Now, if you're also concerned about being too high, if you're taking a nutritional supplement on top of this, you might want to keep an eye on that. There was a period where I was not taking a supplement at all, and there was a period where I was taking supplementation on top of this with a prenatal vitamin, just because I'm pregnant. I want to do my best being pregnant. I am carrying another life inside of me. So you just talk to your doctor, talk to other people, get other people's experiences, and do your research and use Cronometer. Do your best. Just do your best. Now let's go down and take a little bit more of a look in here. So this is my water intake. This is my water intake, and I didn't even add in any water. Your water intake is phenomenal when you're a raw vegan. Most of your water should actually be coming from raw produce. It's the healthiest way to get water, in my opinion, and from the research that I've done. I remember most of the time I would probably drink a cup of water a day because I was never thirsty. There's actually one other thing I'm going to talk to you about that I added into this little food diary that crazily boosted my water, and it phenomenally, my nutrient intake skyrocketed from this one food, and that's why I didn't add it in here, because I just wanted to show you what you could do basically. Okay, and so here are my carbs right here. Cool. Look at that. Don't really care. Sugars, the sugars that you are getting from fruits are far different than what you would get with processed sugars. Now, I don't actually have a lot of fruit in here compared to what I would probably actually be munching on through the day. This is from off the top of my head what I can remember of the base meals, but throughout the day, if I wanted a snack, I would grab some fruit. Fruit is so amazing. Just get fruit and veggies. Man, you can't go wrong. Just fruit and veg it up all the time. Omegas, omega-6, Like, that's phenomenal. Phenomenal. Look at all those proteins. Look at those proteins. Okay, look at those vitamins. Now B12, see how it's a little bit under? Where is this coming from? This is the cool thing too. If you want to know where these percentages are coming from, you can put your mouse right over and it'll highlight where all of that is coming from and the percentages in each of the food. So the B12 right now looks like it's coming only from the nutritional yeast. That's why we talked about supplementation. And if you're taking a multivitamin, you'll probably get that in there, or a prenatal, or even if you take a nutritional shake on top of that. I love Vega. Vega is one of my favorite nutritional shakes to take. It was not raw. There was a raw shake that I was taking at one time, but I can't even remember what it's called now. But we do love Vega. Vega's pretty awesome. If you just feel like you need to get that extra boost in there. More vitamins in there. And then now there's B12. So B12 working, you get B12 as a vitamin. As a vegan, as a vitamin, as a vegan. Can't speak tonight. You can get, foods that are supplemented with it. So right now it's showing that it's coming from the almond milk. You can get it in supplemented foods. The best place to get vitamin D is from the sun. And there's ways, you can get out in the sun and get in some light even during the winter time. And being pregnant though as well, I recommend getting as much as you can. If I'm outside during the summer a lot, I don't worry about my B12. And I've never had an issue or deficiency with B12. There are vegan ways you can get B12, especially in mushrooms. Now, when you type in mushrooms here in Cronometer, it does not show, it doesn't show B12 or vitamin D coming up a lot. Only comes up a little bit. But there are so many different papers and sources you can find out and do some research about how mushrooms are very high in vitamin D. And that you can actually put them in the sun and they will absorb, how it works, but they'll convert more vitamin D into the mushroom and you can get more vitamin D out of it. So do your own research on that. Don't take my word for it. But let's look at everything else. Oh my gosh, look at my K. That's insane. Vitamin K was actually the one thing that, being pregnant, and you get asked about this a lot because it is so important. It's so important for birth. It's so important for blood clotting. And vitamin K is one of those things that they recommend you supplement. You get the vitamin K shot for your baby, or do the vitamin K drops, because they don't believe a lot of it is being transferred to the baby. Now, again, do your own research. There's a lot of contradicting stuff on this. And there's research, done about why is there not a lot of vitamin K created for babies the way that it's created in their gut and all that stuff. Do your own research. It's very interesting because I believe that there's a reason for everything and why babies are born the way they are born. But if you're worried about your vitamin K intake, comes in a lot of greens. Like there, you can see the sources of where it comes from and the percentages of it. A lot of it's, from the chia seeds, lettuce. So greens are really high in vitamin K. But that was one thing that, I never had an issue with. And doing blood work, it always showed extremely high levels for vitamin K. Okay, so there's your vitamin K, and take a look at your calcium. Calcium is very high in here. A lot of it's from the chia seeds. That's amazing. Chia seeds are incredible. Your almond milk, almond milk is, almond milk. And even in lettuce, you have 13%. That's crazy. Your kale, and it's even in fruit. Guys, look at your clementines. I know it's not a lot, but, that's a bit that adds up, right? And so, man, people worried about, as a vegan and then a raw vegan, worried about getting these things, there's no need to worry. Look at your K, look at your calcium, look at your protein. People are like, you need protein from meat. No, you don't need protein from meat. Where do you think the meat gets their protein from? They get it from the veggies and the grasses and all that stuff. Just go to the source. Get your protein from the source. And everything, the rest of that. Okay, sodium. Look, sodium's a little bit low. I didn't add any sodium into my intake, my food diary here. I would have added some salt, iodized salt. I'm actually on iodine supplement right now because of my thyroid. So that is important, I think, too. And I personally feel it when I don't have enough sodium in my diet. But overall, this is phenomenal compared to what you would see in a regular diet. And this was easy to do. If you know what to make and you have the ingredients, this whole thing is the easiest thing to put together. All these recipes are so easy. This was my basic stuff. Now, the one thing that I wanted to add in to show you, the one superfood that I would eat quite often in the summer because I just love it so much is watermelon. And I would eat a lot of it. I would eat probably an entire watermelon in one day. So I'm going to show you what happens when we add in one watermelon or even just a half. Let's see what happens. Because watermelon, I can't remember what they call it. They call it like, I don't know, like it wasn't a superfood, but there's a word for it because you can literally survive off watermelon. Okay, one extra large slice. No, thank you. We want one. They don't even give you the option of a watermelon. Like, you can't just give me one watermelon. One ball? No, that's 12 grams. No. One extra large slice. Let's just do that then. Okay, let's just go with slices. Let's say you have 5 really large slices of watermelon. Add. Now, you're not going to see a difference because all of these numbers were already super high. So let's highlight it. Where is it? It's at the bottom here. Watermelon. This is 5 pieces of watermelon. I think we need to up this because this isn't showing enough, but it's still phenomenal. 5 pieces of watermelon, look what it gives you. Look at that vitamin A. Vitamin C is obviously going to be high, but still look at the other vitamins. No B12, that's fine. All right, we don't expect everything. B6, look at that. B5, B3, B2, B1. Look how high that B6 is though, 49%. Oh my goodness, look at the minerals in it. Copper, magnesium, potassium. And then look at the proteins, guys. Okay, so let's adjust this a little bit. If I want to edit, you can delete selected items or you can go into view, edit selected food. So I'm going to edit this. I'm going to change, wait, can I do this? Change the amount? I think I can. 5 extra slices. I'm going to up this. I'm going to say 10 extra slices. And then what do I click? Do I update it? No. Then I click, what do I click? Add to diary? Add to diary. Sure. Extra slice. Let's do 5. Extra large slice. Add. Okay. Go back to diary. So it has 5 extra. I have to delete this one. Did I do it? No. Did I mess it up? I think I messed it up, didn't I? Watermelon raw, 5 extra large slices. Watermelon fresh, 5. It's like the same thing. So 10 pieces, whatever. And then, oh no, because I can't. Can I highlight too? Let's find out. Yes. Click shift, hold, highlights too. Okay. And so yeah, that's if you had like 10 large slices. So this is still, do you think that would be a large watermelon? Maybe that would be 1 watermelon, or it would probably, I would guess probably be a bit more than this, but that's just on, yeah, let's say that's just on 1 watermelon. So that's phenomenal. Add in a watermelon, guys. Add in some watermelon, and that'll up everything for you. That's like a nutritional pill right there. Whatever. You know what I'm talking about. I'm so tired. Okay, I rambled on. I don't know how long this video is, but I hope that helped. Hope that gave you guys some ideas. I'll post some more recipes, and I will add some more videos like this into when I'm actually eating in a day. This was off the top of my head. I have more videos coming on the kids. And what I feed my vegan kids in a day, and you know, recipes that they really like, the kids really like, because you know how picky kids can be. My husband's gonna come on here sometimes too, and he'll show you what he eats in a day as a raw vegan. He eats some cooked food too, but because of his condition, he can't eat cooked food. He has to be a raw vegan. So he'll talk about that. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please feel free to comment and ask more questions if you want. About anything. I'm happy to share any advice, and please, any advice that you guys have as well. I'm always willing and wanting to learn more and more and more. All right, you guys take care. God bless. Hope you enjoyed this. See you later.